Whoa, Dad.
Whoa, Dad. Dad. Where are you? We're not talking now. So I have a guest. I have a guest who also has daddy issues, but for a different reason.
I thought you were going to introduce me as Daddy.
Oh, you know what? Let's take it back. I have an actual Matt Daddy Lockwood on the show.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to cut that because that was a long pause.
Okay.
Matt's a comedian.
Yes.
And
first. Well, no. A romantic first, a comedian second.
And a daddy.
Daddy first.
No, you just changed it. That's two different.
Daddy and romantic first. Well, being daddy is part of being romantic. Second, a comedian. Third, a podcaster.
Okay.
Well, four, a baker.
A baker.
Yeah.
What's the fifth? You have to have five then.
Fifth would be like kind of just like a chill guy.
That's it?
Guy, like a guy who likes to hang out.
Yeah, I know what chilling is. You mean
listen to music, have a good conversation.
So
I like being on the internet.
Okay, those are two different things. You either are you're a guy that likes to chill, listen to music, or you're on the internet.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's more of an incel. That's you like being on the internet?
Yes.
What are you looking up on the internet?
Well, I play Wordle. I like to look at Instagram, TikTok.
You do?
Yeah.
That's why you're depressed.
Probably has something to do with it.
Yeah. That's 100% why you're depressed.
Do you want to know my trick?
What?
I stopped following like rich and hot people, and I started following ugly and poor people.
Oh, how did you find them?
You just kind of look.
That's smart.
Hashtag ugly and poor.
But I feel
they come.
I feel like that kind of like when I'm on TikTok, which I'm not on that much, but I feel like what I don't like is when it is really ugly, like sad people that look like rats.
Yeah, it's not as enjoyable to look at, but you feel better about yourself.
All right. Okay, that's a tactic. I don't know if I'll do that.
I follow magicians.
That's nice.
Yeah, Siamese twins.
I don't like that. Are they attached?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Head.
I don't. I
know, but it makes you appreciate how easy your life is.
No, I don't like it. I don't like stuff like that.
That's racist.
It's not. I mean, they can be white and be attached.
No, they're Siamese.
Anyways, I guess Matt is a lover, a dad.
No,
he's not
romantic.
A romantic, which means he's not having as much sex as he would like to, but he's being romantic to get there.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And then daddy, but he's not an actual dad. He doesn't have any children, but his name in
You don't
comedy.
need children to be a dad.
What?
Yes.
Wait.
No, being daddy's like an energy.
Okay. So
the world is my children.
Okay, so describe to me how you act as a daddy to the world.
Well, it's just, this idea of nurturing through tough love.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. First of all, did your dad give you tough love?
He gave me tough something, yes.
Okay. Second of all, how would you describe your way of giving tough love? By never giving love, but feeling love inside and not telling the people that you love them?
You don't think I ever tell
until
people I
you're
love
drunk?
Them? No. Well,
or until they're really sad?
Yeah. I mean, it comes out when it needs to come out. Isn't that what tough love is? If you just give it all willy-nilly, then it's not tough. That's easy love.
So do you have a method to this madness? Like,
you just say what you feel when you feel it, and most of the time you try not to feel anything.
So it's kind of like tough love on yourself as well as the other person.
Well, the way you love others is how you love yourself, I believe.
Okay, and do you think that you also got that from the way that your parents loved you?
Yes.
And do you like being loved that way?
No.
Exactly. So why are you loving people?
But it's hard to not love the way that you were loved.
Okay, do you think that if you had a kid, you would still love that way?
If I had a kid, I'd love completely different. I'd be a good parent.
Okay. So you're a daddy in the sense that you nurture people.
I'm fully ready to have a kid.
Oh, all right, guys. This is Matt Lockwood. He's fully ready to have a kid. If there are any ladies out there.
Not financially, just emotionally.
You really want a kid?
Yeah.
Why?
But I think I'm going to adopt.
When? You adopting Jennifer Aniston? Like, when is this happening?
Well, like later when I'm financially stable, but I really want to adopt.
Like, even if you don't have a wife.
Well, it'd be nice to have help. Someone to stay home and
you can hire someone for that.
do the dishes.
So are you saying that even if you had a wife, you would still want to adopt?
I think so. I think there's, bringing a kid into this world would be lovely, I'm sure. But I think there's, kids that need. My thought is like the kids that like. This is going to take a while. Is it okay if we get into it?
Yeah. Let's go.
So for me,
as long as it's on the idea of parenting.
For me, it's like I had interesting parents who both parented kind of bad in different ways.
So
they were separated.
Can we talk about that now, or do you want to wait to tell your theory and then we'll get into how they... will you be able to keep on... See, I'm used to my dad who like goes all over the map, but I'm like, can you...
Yeah, just bring it back to that when I'm done with the adoption thing.
Okay, great.
So I feel like I know how to... I know abandonment issues, and I know how to love through abandonment issues because I had to learn how to love myself through abandonment issues.
Yeah.
And I feel like kids, I was also friends with kids that were adopted, and I've talked to them about what it feels like to be adopted. And a lot of times people adopt if they can't have kids. And so the love for these kids, like the love these kids need is not the love they're receiving, because it's people frustrated with the fact that they're not able to have kids that just feel like they can have kids. I feel like it would be cool as a guy to adopt these kids because out of a want to adopt them instead of a need to adopt, and really give kids the love that maybe they wouldn't be able to receive otherwise.
Whoa. I never thought about it that way because I've watched Friends and Monica like adopts and she's so happy to it. I thought it'd be endless love because they're so grateful that they have a child now.
No, I'm sure that happens a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of loving parents that do adopt and can take care of the kids. But I know that like a lot of kids that are adopted have these really deep-seated issues that, obviously there's huge abandonment issues there, but then also whatever else is like, there might be resentment or some sort of wall blocking the relationship between the kids and the parents.
Whoa.
And so that's something I feel like I can provide, and something I would like to provide for as many kids as I can. But
okay, Angelina Jolie, I guess. Well, okay, so when you talk about your parents,
but I want to like adopt domestically too.
Okay, no.
Like a lot of people adopt internationally, and that leaves a lot of kids here to not be adopted.
I think that a lot of people adopt young. Would you adopt like a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old?
I would go... Okay, this is going to sound like a bad comparison, but I promise it's not.
Okay.
You know how when you adopt a dog, you go to the pound and you maybe try to see if there's a connection with any of them? Yeah. That's what I would do. So age doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Ethnicity doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter. I'd be like, I would find the kid that looks like he needs to be adopted the most and try to adopt them.
Have you ever seen the movie Orphan?
No.
Oh, you should watch it.
Is it like The Omen?
No, it's based on a true story, and it's about a girl, I think it was in Denmark, and she was like 19, but she looked really young, and she did fraud and was at like an orphanage, and then a family adopted her, and she scammed them and took all their money and was stealing from them.
Damn.
And
yeah, I wouldn't adopt her.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, I wouldn't adopt a 19-year-old.
The movie, she kills people, so it's kind of sucks, but then she also was like trying to seduce her dad, her adopted dad. Yeah, it was a whole thing. If you look it up, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would pick someone not quite like that.
Okay. Well, they thought that she was charming and they got along with her, but she was, yeah. So then...
Yeah, but I could see through that.
Okay, well, that's very nice of you. And would you adopt if you didn't have a wife?
I think it'd be easier.
Or a husband? We don't know his sexuality. So.
I think it'd be easier to adopt with a wife or a partner of some sort. Yeah.
Right, but what's the age limit that you would maybe like stop it to be like?
Oh, my wife, at least 18.
Okay, I didn't mean that, but now we've covered. Sorry guys, I have Chris D'Elia on the podcast.
No, I said at least 18.
Oh yeah, true. Okay, so I meant if you were single and 40, would you adopt at that age or like?
Yeah, maybe like one.
Okay.
I think I could handle one by myself.
And what age do you think you would hit that you'd be like, oh, I would adopt? I know it's hard to predict that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, if I get rich tomorrow, then I could do it in the next couple of years, you know? But,
okay, so you would do it on your own.
Yeah.
If you were rich now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be like Annie. Daddy Warbucks.
Okay, because I was like, Annie was the adopted.
Right.
Okay. I actually haven't seen Annie.
I haven't either. Have you seen Black Annie?
Yes, I have. Have you?
No.
Well, somebody's racist if you aren't.
Against both, though. I haven't seen either. I've listened to that Jay-Z song.
Yep, that's true. I haven't seen Annie, the Black Annie, but it's not because...
Blanny.
Okay. Bleep that out as well. I guess I am going to have to edit this episode. Okay, so your parents and abandonment issues. So, your...
This is funny because I'm going to therapy right after this.
Oh my! So, and like in real life, I'm kind of your therapist a little bit. Yeah. So now you're just sharing your story. Yeah. I'm not here to solve anything.
Okay. Yeah, my parents were goofballs. They got divorced when I was 2. My dad.
Me too.
Huh?
Me too.
Nice. Well, mine was about 10 years later. My dad, because you're old. Because my dad left my mother for one of our neighbors with big tits.
Jesus.
And moved away.
He moved away.
Yeah, I mean like 45 minutes, but.
Okay, so where were you living?
Michigan.
And when you were did they divorce because he was having an affair?
Yes.
And
because he wanted to be with the other woman.
Damn, he chose the other woman, the neighbor.
Yeah.
And how long do you think?
Big mistake.
Okay, then what happened? I was gonna ask more details about her, but now you've intrigued me.
So I got divorced when I was 2. So they lived. So they both got remarried. My dad got remarried in like 97 when I was
to the big titty bitch.
To her.
Okay.
Moved to like a farmhouse on a lot of land out in the country. And then my mom got remarried and moved to the suburbs. So we grew up in like a kind of like a hood neighborhood, kind of the inner city. It's called Ends in Heights, if that gives you any idea. That's like
okay.
So not like a dangerous neighborhood, but just like, you know, kind
a suburb,
of like,
yeah.
In the city still. So my dad moved out to the country. My mom moved to the suburbs, and my dad got married to this lady who was not pleasant. And
How so?
In any way, shape, or form. She is still alive,
but she had big
she
boobs,
is the mother
so
to my sisters. So I try not to be too mean about her. But,
but your sisters wouldn't listen to this.
Maybe. I mean, probably not, but just in case.
Okay.
If you are, don't.
If you are, stop listening.
She is one of the worst people to have ever been in my life.
Wow.
Pretty mean. Just like a like Disney villain evil.
Okay, so the stepmom in Cinderella?
Yeah, but more like sly, like Ursula.
I was thinking Ursula.
She would like smile, like when I picture her, it's with an evil smile on her face, like she's cooking something up. Maybe some mental disorders or some sort, you know, bipolar or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure, but yeah, they would fight a lot. Her and my dad would like yell and scream, and she would throw fits and like throw. She would like open the cupboards and grab the bowls and chuck them out, and they'd all break all over the floor and shit. Yeah. And that house is like very dirty, old. A lot of like my dad hates nice stuff or success in any way. Like he thinks you're a pussy if you have a good life.
Weird.
Because he also came from like a very hard family.
Yeah. Okay. Damn.
He's actually like the most regular person in his family.
Damn.
Which is wild if you meet him. So yeah, they lived out there, and then my mom married this like, you know, stereotypical stepdad guy, like loves mowing the lawn, cleans the pool.
His name's Doug.
Jim.
Yeah, close. Even better.
Very stepdaddy. Like never. We went to the same high school that he went to. Like he never left the city.
Okay.
Doesn't really like to do anything. Doesn't like to travel. Sticks to a routine. Eats the same thing for lunch every day. You know, drinks half his Coca-Cola, puts it in the fridge. Yeah, his favorite thing was like mowing the lawn and I don't know, listening to the radio in the garage type thing.
Okay. And did he wear like blue button-ups?
He wore a lot of like golf shirts. He's a golfer.
Okay.
So a big golf shirt guy. Yeah. Yeah, just like, that. Lived in the suburbs, and that house was like very clean. He would yell at us if we sat on the furniture, if we had been outside.
Okay. But
not like dirty.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, just like
physically outside?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but to get the idea of like what this house was like, a lot of rules. We couldn't watch like PG-13 already movies, whereas we'd be at my dad's and we'd be watching like porn essentially.
Yeah. See, but that's my thing about step parents is I'm like, you can't come into my life and now give me the rules.
Yeah. Well, so this is the reason I have abandonment issues is because at my dad's house, my stepmom called the shots, and my dad would not stand up for us at all. And then at my mom's, my stepdad called the shots, and my mom wouldn't stand up for us at all.
Damn.
So it's me and older brother, older sister, and a younger brother. The four of us.
You, older
that's
brother, older sister, younger.
That's my mom and dad's kids.
Okay.
Our step siblings were treated differently at both houses.
No.
Because their parents called the shots.
This was my nightmare.
Yeah.
For real when I was a kid. I just didn't want anybody to date anyone.
Yeah, it sucks. And so then the four of us were just kind of left to like survive on our own emotionally.
Oh my God.
Kind of physically. I mean, my mom did a good job of like, my mom and stepdad did a good job of providing for us, and like we always had food, and like we weren't poor, but they would never give us money. But it was like, we felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And then we just like very much didn't have our parents to go to emotionally.
Support like at all.
Nothing.
You didn't have your parents to like be parents, and then you're watching them be parents to other people.
Yeah. And my mom's like a really, really good person. She's a teacher, a paraprofessional, so she worked with kids with special needs growing up, and she always talked about how much she loved her students and would always like buy them gifts and like do all this nice stuff for them, and then we kind of always felt like we were forgotten. Or it was really interesting.
Whoa. And then did you split your time between?
We did every other weekend with my dad and Thursdays with my dad.
And did you and your siblings talk about like how you hated Ursula?
Not really. We also kind of like the four kids kind of lost our loyalty to each other in a way.
Damn, how so?
My older brother, I think, resented my father because he was old when my dad left and like knew what was going on.
Yeah, it was like, you've really fucked this up, you scumbag.
Yeah. And just really went on a path towards whatever the opposite of my dad is. So like worked his whole life, got a really good job, made a bunch of money, lives in a really nice house with a nice family, just like, has a lot of nice things, new things, which my dad is very anti that. My sister just started traveling a lot, got out as soon as she could, went to like China, Africa, worked like wherever she could go. She would go to national parks in the summer and like just be away.
Okay.
My little brother resented my mom and really like took on my dad's personality and acts a lot like him and talks a lot like him now. And I just always felt like kind of in the middle. I try to play both sides.
Yeah.
And now I try to play neither side, where I'm just like, fuck you both. I mean, I still have relationships with them, but it's like all of us, we didn't really have each other even through all that, because it was all like we were all playing different games
of survival.
Yeah.
You have the guy that's like just trying to be, your older brother trying to be rich to get out of the house, your sister just trying to adventure to see what like else life has.
Yeah.
You were like, boop boop.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna sit in the basement and eat a lot, I guess.
Yeah. And then your little brother who's like, well, I just want my dad to love me. It's probably what it is why he became him, and I'm gonna hate my mom for it.
Yeah, because my mom like really pushed him hard, and he's wasn't good in school. He's like really smart when it comes to like outdoor stuff and like fixing cars and shit. He's really good with all that. Not very good in school. And my dad's very outdoorsy, fix cars, do projects, build shit.
Right.
And so he kind of gravitated towards that and became that.
Okay, whoa.
And then I would just be on the internet listening to music all day.
Being chill.
Escaping.
Being number 5. Chill guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so with your dad, he seems to be like a disruption in your life. So at the time, like when you were going over there in Ursula, are they still together? Is he still with Ursula?
No, he's on a new one.
What happened with Ursula?
They divorced. They were married for like 10 years, had 2 kids together, and then got divorced.
Okay. And so besides him not like being a support for you and being a parent, was there anything else, like, did he try, or was it like, was there anything else that he had faults?
He's just very like, has never in his life talked about his emotions, like very shut off, doesn't know how to communicate, you know, has a lot of like anger built up and doesn't know how to release it. I mean, the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life is like my dad angry.
Really?
And the look in his eyes when he's looking at me when he's angry is like, I still have nightmares about it. It's just like,
what did he get angry at?
Just whatever. If I'm like punching my brother, or you know, we do something stupid or whatever. But it's just like the anger behind his eyes is like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like it's heavy. It's like you could see it.
It's like he blacks out.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen him act on it.
Right.
So he has enough control to keep it in. But it's like, I know there's a lot of like, and I know some of the shit he went through. He didn't really talk about it much, but the shit he went through growing up is way worse than what I went through. And so it's like,
he has his own demons to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. But he just never has dealt with them or knows how to deal with them. Or
so annoying. Like, I just feel like none of our parents do. Like, they're just like, sorry, this is how it is. And you got to pay for your own therapy to get to deal with what we. So then as a kid, were you aware of the disconnect between you and your dad, or were you just like naive and trying to make it work? Because like, we'll get into like how you think it affected you now, but at the time, were you aware, or were you just kind of living and thought it was normal?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, my whole life they were divorced and opposites, and like the city I grew up in, the city we moved to was very like Christian and white, and I didn't have any friends with divorced parents. I didn't really have anyone to like talk to about it.
Whoa. Is that why you're a comedian?
I think it has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Everybody's like that.
My mom tried to get me to go to therapy, but I was just like so shut off. Like I didn't know how to talk about it. Like I didn't feel feelings for a long time. So I don't know if I like knew the disconnect between me and my dad. I knew that like when I would go over to his house for the weekends, I would usually just sit in the basement and play video games. And there wasn't a lot of like, I mean, I would go and help him work on cars or whatever, but he would always get so frustrated that I didn't know anything without teaching me anything.
Oh my God.
That it was like, if I did that, it was like because I wanted to be with my dad, but like I hated every second of it. Like I was terrified of every second of it. He'd like ask for a tool, and you know, you can't say which one is that. You have to guess, and if you get it wrong, you're an idiot, and it's just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable.
Damn. And so now is he still like that, or like you able to stand up to him and be like, well, I don't know what fucking tool it is.
Now he's just much more like the wife he's with now has settled him down a lot, and he's like just kind of like, he's more old, I guess now, where he just kind of like, he doesn't really work as hard. He's just kind of chilling. I mean, we can be around each other. It's fine. We don't really have anything in common.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like, I'm like very spiritual and emotional, and I like having conversations like this.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't even know how to talk to him really.
There's no way he'd have
because he doesn't want to. Or maybe he does, but he won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It sometimes it feels like a chore hanging out with him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's not dreadful.
Was it like, do you think that having him around and then him not being accessible, I kind of already asked this, but like, is painful now looking back? Like, how do you think that it affected you and your insecurities?
I mean, that's, I don't blame my parents for it, but they are fully responsible for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interesting that you don't blame them for it.
Well, because it's like my dad grew up in a really shitty household. My mom grew up with a father who wouldn't tell her he loved her. Like, they weren't taught how to be good parents. And so how would they ever be good parents? Especially when you separate, and then it goes into like self-protection mode where they can't even Like my whole life growing up, I always felt like my mom was doing what was best for her.
Right.
And I don't blame her for that, but it did leave us kids to fend for ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I blame her? No. Is she responsible? Yeah. Fully.
Yeah. It's funny though, because you do lean on your mom more in what she did when your dad, like, but that's maybe because you saw him every other weekend and every
I lived
Thursday.
with my mom.
Yeah.
Like she was the one that should have been the parental resource.
Right. Exactly. But then at the same time, when you go to your dad's, but he's still like shut off and scaring you, then you're not going to want to go to your dad's.
Yeah.
So, like, were you ever trying to impress him besides not wanting to get in trouble, but was there any sort of like validation you needed?
Yeah, there was validation. I guess I didn't like know how to get it. Like I wasn't really conscious about that stuff. To me, it was, I try to play both sides. I try to be like a different person. When I would go to my dad's, I would act a certain way. When I went to my mom's, I would act a certain way.
Damn.
And that still has an effect on me now, where I'm like, try to people please and try to try to not piss anyone off, try to get everyone to like you.
Yeah.
Which is really tough.
Yeah, especially when they don't like, or not even if they don't like you, but yeah, if they don't like you, but also if you're like, I'm just being polite. Like when I told you yesterday about him doing the wave, and I was like, I almost cried, but it had nothing to do with like, I don't care if you don't like me, but it's like, yeah, we're so used to trying to please people that if you get ignored, it hits harder.
Yeah, and it sucks too, because I'll like focus on the people that if I feel like they don't like me, or if they're on the fence about liking me, I focus more on them than the people that do like me.
Yeah. Well, and that's also comes into dating.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Because so
that's what they fucked me up the most with, I think.
Yeah, that's 100. Me too. I mean, I'm not in that now, and that's why like me and Matt, when we talk about dating, and I will always give advice because I'm like, I know exactly how you're doing it. Like we always want the people that don't like us, because if we can get the validation from them, then like friends, whatever. I actually don't really care about people like if they don't like me now, but with dating, it was like, just give me the people that maybe are on the fence, and if I can get them to change for me, because the whole life you want your dad to change for you.
I have to earn their love.
Yeah.
And if I don't have to earn it, then it's not worth having.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is not a good.
And how like special do you feel if you earned it and it's someone that other people couldn't hold down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucks.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
But I feel like I got to a point where I was always doing that, always dating players. And then now I feel like with my relationship, I'm like, well, he got what I wanted out of people, and where it's like we want to hold the people down. I'm like, oh, he learned how to hold me down, and instead of me going after players, I was like, I'm the player.
Yeah.
And he got, then I felt more powerful.
Yeah, he reversed it on you.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I made this up in my head. If he listened to this, he'd be like, you're a psychopath. Yeah. But I was like, oh, it's actually more fun if you consider yourself the one in power, the one who can't be held down, instead of going after the ones who can be.
Yeah.
Because you are the one who can't be held down to people that are softer and more normal.
Yeah. I do feel like, there's been women in my life who I'm always like, I always think about like, if they really put in the effort, I would probably be with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of seeing me as like this guy, whatever, if they treated me like the woman, like the hot bitch, then
you would be okay.
Yeah.
And so when you moved, you moved to San Diego.
Yeah.
And did you keep in touch with your parents?
Yeah. I mean, I talk to my mom probably once every other week. I talk to my dad, I don't know, once every couple months.
And how long would you talk to your dad on the phone for?
He is not someone who hangs up ever. So
Oh, weird.
It's a lot of like, we'll have a little conversation, and they'll both kind of sit there for a couple seconds in silence.
No.
And then, so maybe we could talk about this. Oh yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. Oh, cool. Yeah, then maybe this thing could happen. It's just like a lot of like, neither of us is good at.
Oh my God.
Hanging up, or I don't know. My whole family has always been bad at setting boundaries and like communicating, and yeah, it's always weird. It's always a really awkward phone call.
Do you feel like you're the one who's learning more about yourself and how to deal with this than anybody else, or are other people getting help too?
I'm definitely putting in the most effort by far. Yeah.
And is there any, like, was there ever a time that you didn't want to talk to your parents? Where you just are like, I give up. Like, I don't know.
No. I mean, I used to fight with them a lot.
Okay.
Not my dad, really. I used to fight with my mom a lot. But I've never, like, wanted them out of my life.
Okay. Because that's what I wanted to ask was, do you think that, like, with your dad's situation, the abandonment issues, it's a weird kind of or your mom as well, it's a weird kind of abandonment issue because it's not like mine where it's like someone's not there. It's like, my question is, I don't know what's more painful. Someone just physically not being there and you can accept it and be like, okay, you're gone. This is my life. This is my norm, whatever. Or someone always being there, but not being emotionally.
Like physical abandonment or emotional abandonment.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, I mean, physical abandonment is probably worse. But I think if someone abandons you fully, you can begin to deal with it sooner.
Right.
Whereas, like, I didn't realize I even had abandonment issues because both my parents were in my life.
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't realize you have it until you are willing to grow up and, like, deal with it and talk about it and figure out why you feel the way you feel about certain things. And then it's like, oh, I'm 30, and now I have to deal with abandonment issues. Whereas if they left when I was young, I could have been dealing with it the whole time.
It's true, but I didn't deal with it when I was young. I just figured my dad's not in my life. That's the way it is. And
so when did you realize, like, what age did you realize you had to deal with it?
Let me think. I accepted it all through elementary school. I didn't really know. High school, I was like, and I had another friend though whose dad wasn't around. So
you have that.
Yeah, I had that where I could be like, oh, that's just it. And I didn't care and I didn't feel sad. I think it wasn't until probably university. And I didn't deal with it yet.
Which is what, like early 20s?
Yeah, early 20s, like 19 to 23. And then I was like, oh, I also, I was pretty self-aware kid where when I was in elementary school, I would get how you get validation from, like, getting friends, people to like that don't like you. Mine was more becoming friends with guys. That was my thing. And, like, since grade 6.
Yeah.
That I was aware that I was like, I love the feeling of having guys like me as a friend.
Yeah.
And I was aware that it was because of my dad. And then I started to, like, fiend off of it, and I would just become friends with all these guys, and there was nothing better than the high of, like, getting off the phone with a guy friend.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I'd hook up with them because I was ugly, so I had nothing to expect, but I loved being, like, their go-to girl.
I feel that way a lot too.
With girls?
Yeah. Like, I have a lot of very, like, emotionally intimate relationships with women.
Yeah. It's so good, but it's also, like, that's just us filling the void. Yeah. It's interesting, though, because your dad, like, fucked up a little bit. I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like listening, I'm like, you are letting your dad off the hook. Not off the hook, you still have feelings, but, like, your mom hurt you more because you lived with her, where your dad, it seems like you just kind of accept that, like, he's a grumpy guy, he grew up tough, he's not gonna expel his emotions. You don't need that validation from guys, you just need it from women.
I still need it from guys, but I just need it from women more.
Okay.
I still seek it out from both, for sure.
Yeah.
But I care less about men than I do. Like, I also just, like, growing up, I didn't have male role models. I didn't have men. I didn't have any man in my life that I looked up to.
Right.
And, like, I would feel like I was fully raised by women, and all the important people in my life have been women. So, yeah, I don't know. I care about their opinions more. Yeah. I feel like I connect with women more, like, emotionally. I can be more honest around women than I can around men. Type of thing. But
see, I'm the opposite, where I like to crack men and get them to open up and be emotional and, like, get everything that I can out of them. And then I'm like, I know I'm going to be that person for you. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. And do you think that, like, with your dad, do you feel close to him at all, or are you like, this is just a distant relationship?
I mean, yeah, it's I don't think we'll get closer. and we're not that close. So
Yeah. I guess when I was a kid and with my dad issues and I didn't know my dad, sometimes I wondered like if I loved him, and it was the weirdest thing to think about.
yeah.
Because I was like, I'm supposed to love you, but I don't know you, so I really don't know if I love you. And I would like think about it when I was like 10 and be like, but if he died, would I be sad? And it was fucked up.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
I've had those thoughts a lot. Yeah.
Interesting.
I still am like, I don't know if what me and my dad or me and my mom have on both ends is love.
Really?
Yeah. Because love is like really caring for someone and like really paying attention and appreciating. And I mean, both of them have told me they love me, obviously.
Right.
And, you know, I think they love me maybe as much as they can or as much as they're willing to. But like, I didn't feel that somebody actually loved me until pretty recently.
Really?
Where I was like, oh, this is kind of what love is.
Whoa. Who loved you?
You know, just some people in my life.
Okay.
Hormos specifically.
Okay.
Where it was like, he like, yeah,
Cute.
he really like, I mean, it was during an acid trip, so it's like a lot of.
All right. Well, this still is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, let me explain this because it's actually pretty beautiful.
Okay.
So we took acid in the desert, and it was a big group of people, and I took too much, and I started to have a little freak out. And the way it happened in my head was I left the circle, and I walked down this like giant pier, right? It's like a cloudy, misty pier.
Okay.
Like really long, narrow, out into a void, essentially.
Wait, where was this?
In the desert. But this is like on acid, so it's like the things happening in my brain.
A fake pier.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's a pier I've been down many times before throughout my whole life, right?
Okay.
It's like this long, narrow, into the darkness, into the void.
Do you actually see this pier?
I can visualize it, yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, it's not like I felt like I was walking on a pier, but in my head, I can visualize it.
Okay. You weren't up and walking.
So it's a thing that I've walked down my whole life where when I feel insecure, I'm sad or whatever, this is the pier I walk down and I go and I sit at the end. And I would always wait for somebody to come down the pier.
Okay.
And my parents never did. My family never did. My friends never did. It was always me sitting at this pier alone, sad, empty, until I was ready to come back. And for the first time in my life, somebody walked down and it was Hormos.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I could tell you're having a bad trip. And we just sat and like cried for a little bit.
Oh my God. Did he cry too?
Oh yeah, we were bawling.
What was he crying?
Because I was crying.
Oh.
Because he loves me.
Yeah.
And so it's like like I had been down that path so many times in my life where I would be sad about something and go sit at the end by myself, and like my parents never made the walk down.
Damn. Now here's my thing though.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the pier and it's in your head, then how do they know that you're on the pier? If you could just be sitting staring at a wall.
Well, yeah, but the point is like the pier is an emotional thing. It's like it's a sadness thing where I'm like,
right.
I am walking into this darkness.
Yes.
And as parents, you should recognize that your kid is in this moment of desperation or whatever, and walk down and console them.
Totally.
Like I used to get in fights with my mom, and I would go down to my bedroom and just cry and have conversations with my mom in my head and like all the things I wanted to say and all this stuff. And she would never come down. We would have to go upstairs.
No.
And then even when we went upstairs, it was like we couldn't carry on until I apologized to her.
No. This is like kind of like how I'm holding out. Yeah. Where with my dad, I'm like, you have to call me. I told you the ball's in your court. Because it's not to have to always go up to your mom. It's like, that's not, I'm the fucking kid.
You're the parent.
Yes.
Come down. Tell me you're sorry. Tell me it's okay. Let's talk it out. Because I'm sitting in my room and I have all this stuff I want to say. It's like I'm having these fake arguments in my head and these discussions in my head.
I would say them out loud.
And then I'd go, or even out loud. And then I'd go upstairs and she would be stone-faced like, we wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't say anything. The only thing that could happen is I would have to apologize to her and then we'd move on.
Oh.
So the pier is when I would go down in my bedroom and cry.
Yes.
That's the pier.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn. So now now that you have that kind of love, then I don't think your parents are ever going to be able to fulfill that now that you know what that feels like.
Yeah.
But then it's crazy because I'm like, they think that they love you, but you're like, well, you don't see me and you're not helping me. You're not being a parent.
Yeah.
But maybe if something bad, knock on wood, happened to you, they would show up and like be the parent. Do you think that? Or do you think you're just...
I hope that's not what it takes though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I recently had a conversation similar to this with my mom, just about like, and my sister, just about like, you know, how we felt emotionally abandoned and how we didn't really feel like she was sticking up for us. Like, we moved into this new house. We moved into my stepdad's house and he had all these new rules. We had to act a certain way. Like, when we lived with my mom and she was a single mom, you know, we'd go into her bed at night and sleep with her, and we'd hang out and we'd all use the bathroom together. Nobody cared. We were a family. And we moved into this new house and they're like, my stepdad's like, you're not allowed in our bedroom.
Oh my God.
You know, you have certain bedtimes or whatever. Like, I would wake up. I would be so scared in the middle of the night. I would wake up and I would go sleep outside their door on the floor.
What?
Sometimes I would sleep on like the landing on the stairs just to be like, because I wasn't allowed to go seek refuge from them, but I was too scared to sleep alone in my bed. And then they would mock me for sleeping on the floor. They would laugh at me. And it was like, don't you understand? There's something so darkly psychological going on.
There's something very wrong.
And they just didn't. Yeah.
That makes me so fucking mad at your mom, though.
Yeah.
Because that's like my biggest fear was always step-parents and step-parents taking over.
Yeah.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah, and it happened in both houses. And it was just like...
Yeah. You didn't have a safe haven.
There was a point, we had nothing. I mean, I didn't feel safe in either house. I didn't feel like...
It was your home.
Yeah, never. There was a point where we went to my dad's and my stepmom was like, you're not allowed to eat our food without asking.
No.
Yeah. I was like, but we live here. We're supposed to live here. Like, we live here for 3 days.
And what did your dad just go, yeah, it's true? Or he wasn't even listening?
Know. I mean, we just like, he was gone a lot, you know, even on the weekends we were there, he would be gone a lot.
Where was he?
I don't know, probably fucking other women.
Really?
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh my God.
He was busy. He worked hard. You know, he had he was an engineer at a GM plant. He had a really good job, made a lot of money, but.
That's so much more frustrating.
Yeah.
I'd rather him be poor and angry than like make a lot of money and be shitty.
Yeah. Made a lot of money and didn't know how to spend it. I don't know what he spent it on because we always had like shitty cars, shitty house. It was like bugs in the cereal type of house.
No. What?
Like fly traps over the dinner table.
No.
For a while. So when we first moved into this house, we had, you know, it's 4 kids plus her 2 kids. Right?
Okay.
So there's not enough bedrooms. So my dad built 3-layer bunk beds for me and my brothers, and we all shared a room. And then eventually they ended up giving that room to one of her daughters. And when me and my little brother would go over for the weekend, we would sleep on the couches.
Oh my God.
Like, we would pack our stuff, and then our bed for the weekend would be couches.
Oh my God.
In a house. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I honestly feel like I'm with my situation, I'm like, okay, we're working it through. With your dad, I would honestly grow up and be like, I'm done. Like, I just don't.
Part of me feels that way. Part of me is like, I don't need them.
Yeah.
They don't help. They don't offer much. I mean, very recently, within the last year, were like, if you need help financially, ask us. And I mean, in high school and college, I was like broke. I would put quarters of gas in my car. I would find change, and that's why I would buy gas. And I had a job. I had cars that would shut off when I came to a stop. I had cars I started with a screwdriver. And instead of helping us, my stepdad would be like, you're not allowed to park in the driveway. The oil leaks on my driveway.
No.
So we'd have to park on the street and walk up. Just like, there was never any... So this is the story I always tell to get an idea. So I had to pay for my phone. I had to pay for car insurance. I had to pay for everything. They didn't pay for anything. I could not pay for my phone and car 1 month. My stepdad took my keys and my phone and said, you can't have this back till you pay. Okay. So I used that house phone. I call one of my friends. I'm like, hey, you got to come pick me up. I don't have a phone. I don't have a car. My 16-year-old friend came and picked me up, drove me to the bank, took out money from his account so I could pay. Like, my 16-year-old friend is helping me pay for this stuff when my parents won't.
Oh my God.
And it's not like I was making mistakes. I was working at a pizza place. I had summer jobs at a farm. I was like trying because you know, we're making like $6 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to school. So I'm working, I don't know, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week. It's not enough to pay for gas.
Yeah.
And
You're literally
activities
a child.
and whatever. I'm 16. I'm 17.
Yeah.
And it's just like they never helped us financially at all. And my stepdad would buy a brand new car for him and my mom, like brand new stuff, and then we just got nothing.
Oh my God.
Nothing.
See, that's where I'm like, that's with the question, what's worse? I mean, maybe physically there is worse, but I don't know because, I mean, I would say that to feel sorry for myself but like, I was able to block it out because it wasn't physically there. Yeah. So I suppressed it. And you know what? I have more issues probably, if we were to compare our issues, I'm more sensitive, like, you know, the abandonment for sure of not being seen or noticed is really hard. I'm not good at dealing with that. But then at the time when I was a kid, I was just like, it's gone. But you're like constantly, you can't get away from it. You're just like constantly in it of people turning their back to you.
Yeah.
Do you have a fear of people doing that now?
For sure. I mean, I feel abandonment issues if I'm like in a conversation and the attention shifts and like, I mean, I can feel abandonment issues and still be around people. You know what I mean?
Right. But what were you just going to say? If the attention shifts from you to someone else, like
not even that, but if it's just like, if I'm like in a circle of people and I don't know how to explain this, and somebody new walks up and the attention shifts to them and I don't feel a part of it, I'll leave the conversation.
Yes.
I'd rather go be by myself and feel like, I mean, at least when I'm alone, I can like focus on what I want to focus on.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in a group of people that aren't, and no one in the circle is paying attention to me, then it's like I feel, I don't know, something comes up in me where I'm like, I can't be here anymore.
So I know exactly what you mean because I get that too. If there's a bunch of people that know each other and I don't know them,
it's the worst.
It's the absolute worst. Like if I know ahead of time, I just won't put myself in that situation. There's no way to describe the feeling, but I'm different where I will stand there and I will smile and I will behave and then hopefully I'll be included. And then I hate myself even more because I'm like, this isn't my personality at all. You are fucking pathetic. Yeah. And it sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know.
And then I become like resentful of people that have confidence that can just
talk to whoever.
Yeah. And then I don't like them because they can do that. Well, do you and then are there other things abandonment wise that come up? Or is there anything that like you've dealt with that you used to do because of these abandonment issues that have gone away? Or
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know, in that situation that you're talking about where people, like someone new comes up and you'll leave the conversation. My therapist told me that I should like challenge myself, and maybe your therapist would be like, stick in the conversation, see what happens. Like, are there any things that you've done that you never used to do to change the pattern of the insecurity you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I like try to be more conscious of being more present in conversations with new people. But I don't know. I also just like I play really hard to get socially. Where I'm like, if I'm gonna have a relationship with this person, then I really want to like, I don't want to have a relationship with everybody. I want to find the real people, and then I'll put in time and effort with them. Okay. But just like trying to be more friendly, I guess, to people I don't really care about.
Yeah, I guess so. And do you think like that your abandonment issues have hindered you in any sort of way in your career or your are you crying?
No, they've hindered me. Absolutely. And well, the thing about stand-up is like the career is kind of your personality. Yeah. So it's like the reason I've dealt with a lot of issues is because I want to get better at stand-up. That's the only reason. Yeah. It's because I have something to get better for. So yeah, it's like for sure it's hindered me. I think it's now that I'm like dealing with it and conscious about it, I can think about it. It's less intrusive to my career or my relationships or whatever. But in the past, for sure, it's like, yeah, it makes you be an asshole to people.
Which is interesting because then you're now taking on your dad's personality.
Yeah.
Of being the asshole.
Yeah. Shutting people out and hating success and for sure.
It's wild. Because
there's still a lot of them in me.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you like, fuck?
I did stand up for my mom for the first time in 3 or 4 years probably. And I get off stage and the first thing she said is, "You're so much like your dad."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Were you like...
And I've asked her about that too, because I feel like whenever I can feel myself acting a little like my dad, I kind of can like feel a little bit of distance growing between me and my mom.
Whoa.
Because I think obviously she was so hurt. You know, this man left her with 4 kids for a woman way worse than her. So like her self-esteem has always been very low.
Right.
And I understand that too. And I don't know.
Do you find that, like, were you insulted when she said that? Or, like, is there a part of you?
I thought it was a weird first thing to say.
Yeah. You're like, because
I was like,
it's funny.
That's not, I know from coming from you, that's not a compliment.
Yeah.
You don't like the man.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird, but whatever. She's also a person that doesn't really think about what she says. Right.
Would you rather more validation when you get off stage? Would you rather your dad like your set more or your mom?
To be honest, I don't care about either of them with stand-up.
That's good. That's healthy. Okay.
I don't do it for them.
Not that you would, but like if there's any sort of...
And in the past, like thinking of them when I do stand-up has held me back.
Interesting.
Because I've always like not wanted to talk shit about my family, even though I have a lot of shit to talk. Even like my siblings and stuff, I'm like, I don't want anything to get on TV where they can see it when I talk shit about them. But they all are idiots, and they deserve to be talked about.
So are you talking about them then?
No, but I will.
I mean, at least talk about your parents, because I don't know, I'm a bit vengeful. It was a bit of a fault, but I think like your parents didn't censor themselves for you, so why should you fucking censor yourself for their feelings?
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, you guys, you want to start caring.
I don't think you should. I mean, not the best advice.
When they used to do handoffs for custody, it was in the parking lot of an abandoned Burger King.
That's trash.
Yeah.
This is so trash.
It's like a shitty drug deal.
This is the thing. I know that therapists say, and like my last episode that I put out, I explained what happened with my dad. And everyone's like, your therapist is right. And I was like, great. Therapists are like, it's not about them. You got to work on you. Sure. But like, how are you supposed to not have resentment? Like, there's some part of me that I'm like, if I lose all my resentment, then who am I as a person? I feel weak.
Yeah, but it's also like harboring resentment isn't going to do anything good for your body or your mind.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if the word's resentment, but like the Burger King thing. Yeah. And then you're like, I don't want to talk about them on stage. I'm just a bit like, well.
I mean, I'll say shit like that though. I'll tell about stuff they did.
Yeah, because I'm a bit like, I don't know. I guess that is resentment, where I'm like a bit tit for tat. I'm like, well, you did this, so like
Yeah, I guess I also haven't thought of it in ways to make it funny, where it's like it's still
sad.
I'm still like dealing with how to overcome it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really thinking about it in a way of like sharing with people.
Right.
Yet, but I think that'll come.
I'm trying to decide who I'm mad at more in your family.
The thing that sucks too is like they're good people. They're both good people. They just are really shitty parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to hate them. If they were bad people, it'd be easy.
Right.
You're like, fuck you.
Exactly.
But they're such good people where it's like, all right.
No.
Like, it's hard to hate.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if they meet people that your friends are probably like, they're great.
Yeah. All my friends love my mom.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. And then you're like, but you fucked me up. But that's a very good point. They're good people, but they're not good parents.
Yeah. Just shitty parents.
Anything else? Any other insight that you have about the abandonment issues and your dad? And
if you have kids, just put them first. kids are the most important people in society. They're the ones who can change the world and make the world better. And don't be selfish and think about yourself first. Think about your kids first.
That's a really good message. I agree with that and can relate to that very much so. I also think that if you put your kids first, even for like the prime moments of their life, maybe even until they're like 13,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
And then they can shine and learn how to be their own selves. And then if they have talents, like me and Matt have talent,
Yeah.
they'll be way more confident and they'll be successful by now.
Yeah. I mean, if you treat your kids correctly, they will never become artists. And I think that's maybe good.
Yeah.
Art doesn't come from good places. I think that yeah, you are fully responsible for how your kids turn out. And so just always keep that in mind.
Yeah. Maybe not like, I don't know about turnout, like necessarily personality wise, but I think that they're responsible for how our confidence levels turn out and our insecurities.
They're responsible for insecurity and confidence. They're responsible for the way your kids treat other people.
Yes.
Obviously, there's like disorders or illnesses that can come along. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
But even the way they treat people, whether you love toxic people, it's the same thing.
You are so much more responsible for your kids than you could ever imagine.
Yeah. So
and just remember that. And if you don't think you'd be a good parent, then don't fucking have kids.
When your kids down the pier,
take that walk.
Take the walk. Okay. So you want to talk about your podcast?
Listen to my podcast, The Big Humble. Available everywhere.
Are you going to describe it?
I don't know how to describe that podcast. It's two guys who really don't know anything, pretending they know a lot.
Pinky and the Brain.
Who's who?
You're the brain, and Morgan's
tight.
Pinky.
All right. It's if you can imagine a podcast where I'm the smart one, then yeah, that's what that is.
It's good.
Good pod.
It's great pod.
I think he listens to this.
I don't know if he's gone as far. I think he started. Yeah, he might be listening to this.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan. But I just said he's the brain, which the brain's very endearing.
You said he's Pinky.
I mean, Pinky. He's endearing. Pinky's
Don't try to save it. It's going to make it sound worse.
I like Pinky. Okay. Do you have any? What about your Instagram and Twitter?
Matt Lockwood on Instagram. Delete Twitter if you have it. Delete it. It's a cesspool. It's bad for your mental health. Is
it just because it's like politics?
Yeah, it's a lot of politics. It's a lot of complaining. It's a lot of... The amount of funny on there is so minuscule compared to everything else.
Yeah. Okay.
Go to websites. Even Instagram is better than fucking Twitter.
Well, there you go. A lot of advice given today, everybody. Thanks for coming. Say bye.
Bye. See ya.